This is Limited Supply, the place for refreshingly real takes on what D2C is really like.
We're your hosts, Nick and Moiz. Let's start talking about money.
Nick, you know what I really love about Tapcart is you can constantly update your mobile app to reflect the season or environment that your site is in. So if you're running like a Black Friday sale and you have like a new hero image, super easy to do that in the app. It's not like a static thing where you load it once and it never changes again. You're launching new products, you're doing a July 4th sale, you can update the header really easily. You can update the look of the site to reflect the sale that you're doing. It's Black Friday, you want to make a big splash. You can do that all in the Tapcart app and then make it really easy for you to be able to update your app without a bunch of like headache and a bunch of getting your CTO involved or something to that effect. It's all self-serve. It's really fast. And I love that about them.
Yeah. The other thing is, pairing that with the discovery piece. I feel like one of the biggest things that happens during any sale is actually the lack of awareness about a sale or the lack of discovery by their own customers that a sale is going on. And so using Tapcart to, one, have real estate on somebody's home screen, but also two, have the push notification capability, that plus being able to merchandise your app around a sale, I think creates for a powerful promo experience.
Pretty amazing. And to learn more, go to tapcart.com/limited.
All right, Nick, penultimate episode of season 4. We've got this one more to shoot, and we're done with the season. I felt like this season lasted longer because we did so many quickly early on in the season, and then we sort of did it weekly, and now we're doing it quickly a bit.
So I kind of liked when we were rapid firing them.
Yeah, me too. Let's go back to that in season 5. Exactly.
Yeah. Also, today, June 28th, today's my birthday.
Oh, when this podcast drops, it's your birthday?
When it drops, it's my birthday.
Oh, Happy birthday. Wow. Okay, you're going to get
I just injected that dopamine in my arm right there.
There's all these, like in India, people will put up billboards and it'll say, my birthday is June 28th. Please text me happy birthday. Here's my phone number.
If somebody wants to put up a billboard, Brian, let's put up a billboard.
If you had given me a month's notice, I would have put up a billboard.
Next year.
I always thought I want to get into guess this business in a second, but I always thought that one business should exist where they take a Times Square billboard and sell it to you. You can upload text or video or photo and they sell you that billboard by the second or by the minute. And then maybe they charge you $100 a minute. But let's say you're proposing to your girlfriend or it's your birthday or something to that effect. Like if it's your birthday, I would pay $100. Be like, hey, Nick, let's meet at Times Square. And then be like, look, I bought this, it says happy birthday, Nick Sharma on a big billboard in Times Square. I'm surprised that no one's doing that yet. It'd be so fun and interactive.
That would be a good one. Have you seen the birthday the birthday videos you can get from 7 people in India in a jungle? They'll make a video singing your name and happy birthday and dancing, and it's probably $30 and they send it to you.
Yeah, that is probably a better deal. Okay, well, one of the feedback I got this, somebody messaged me on Twitter earlier today and was like, hey, Moiz, you didn't make any jokes in the last episode that I just listened to. It was really disappointing. So I'm going to try to be funnier in this episode. Okay, let's get into Guess This Business. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. This company is worth $2.5 billion. It's publicly traded. You have definitely shopped there, although I would guess that you have not shopped there in several years. But that's a guess. You could have ended up shopping there earlier this year, but you probably have not shopped there for several years. I've shopped at the store many times as I was a kid, a little bit less as an adult, although, you still could shop there as an adult. Okay, the company's worth $2.5 billion. They have enough cash that every year they pay a 6% dividend. Do you know what a dividend is?
No. Can you explain it?
Yeah. So let's say your company is worth $100 a share. It trades for $100 a share. You're making all this money, right? Sharma Brands is making a bunch of money. Native is making a bunch of money. As you make this money, your bank account just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what do you do when you're a company with a huge bank account? Yes, your stock price has gone up, but all your shareholders are why, Apple shareholders are legitimately thinking, why are you guys sitting on $100 billion in cash? You guys sell so many iPhones. Why don't you give some of that money back to shareholders?
Right.
And so a dividend is this thing that says every year we'll give you back some cash every single year because we're making too much cash and we don't know what to do with it. So we want you to have it back. And
Got
so, P&G has famously increased their dividend every single year for like 50 years. This company pays a 6% dividend, which is super high. So if you have $100 stock price per share price, this company pays you back $6 every single year. They just put it in your bank account, $6. Okay, let me keep going. $2.5 billion market cap, 2,700 stores across the US, Europe, and Asia. 2,000 are in the United States. Average size of the store, 3,200 square feet. 15,000 full-time employees, 32,000 part-time employees. So a total of 47,000 employees. They did $8.7 billion in sales last year. 17.5% came from direct to consumer. In 2021, 21.5% came from direct to consumer. So the vast majority is coming from these 2,700 stores. Their COGS on $8.7 billion in revenue is $6 billion. Okay. SG&A is $2 billion. Of the SG&A, $185 million is advertising expenses.
That's it?
Yep. It's it's a brand. When we mention the brand name, you'll be like, you don't need, I know what that is. Yeah, I guarantee you'll know what it is. Net income from operations is $600 million.
Okay.
Of the $600 million, $17 million comes from gift card breakage.
Wow.
A lot of money.
Your favorite.
Okay. Final clue is the CEO of the store, the CEO of this brand, has been the CEO for less than 1 year. And previously, this woman worked at Ulta for 8 years. She was the CEO of Ulta for 8 years. And in order to have her come from Ulta to this brand or this company, she should take 75% of this company. Like, Ulta is so good and what she's built is so amazing, and this company is like doesn't need a turnaround, but it's probably not in the best shape. And she's amazing. So I think that they should be very grateful to have a CEO as qualified as she is. Okay, ask me any questions you'd like.
Okay, your first two clues make me think this is a mall store for sure.
It is. It's often in malls.
Okay. 15,000 employees, 32,000 part-time.
Yeah, 15,000 full-time, 32,000 part-time, 47,000 employees total.
And 3,200 square feet. That's not a huge store. So it's not like...
One of my gas stations was 3,200 square feet.
Yeah. And $6 billion in COGS. So they don't produce their own products. They resell other people's products.
This is so good. Yes, that is true. And you are getting so good at this.
Okay. So this has to be... Okay. And there's a good amount of gifting. So this has to be... And the advertising is small, which also means that it's somewhat of a necessity probably versus... it's something you just have to buy is my guess.
I think you have to buy it, but what's a good example of this? You might have to buy a car. You don't need to buy a Mercedes-Benz. This isn't Mercedes, but you have to have this. This store is maybe the premium version of the stuff you have to have.
Okay. I'm thinking something in apparel. I see that smile.
I want you to get it. I want you to get it without any, I think you're on it.
Okay. Could it possibly be a Payless? Payless shoes?
You are so close. I'm not sure if Payless Shoes still has 2,700 stores.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm trying to think. Last time I went to a mall, there was one called Nice Kicks, but I think that's small, like a small chain. Foot Locker?
Yes, it's Foot Locker.
Oh, let's go. 2 for 10.
Hey, these are not easy, so that's really amazing. These are not easy. So here's
that's amazing.
a couple
6% back on Foot Locker?
Yeah, that is really. I think part of that is people I think people might be afraid that 6% is going to go down. Usually, if your dividend is so high like that, people are like, this is going to come down because you don't have enough cash to keep paying this. you need to come up with $6 per share every year. That just isn't possible.
That's a lot of money
the case in Foot Locker.
For 600 million in net income off of 8.5 billion.
Yeah, that is. One of the things that I was going to say is I bet you have not shopped there recently, but I bet Rabah, the CMO of
Yeah.
Triple Whale, I was like, I bet he's shopped there the last week.
Probably been there
that's
every
going to give it
weekend.
away. Yeah. Okay, here's some interesting things about Foot Locker. That I've got like a before reveal and after reveal part. After reveal, footwear represented 80% of sales, and apparel and accessories represented 20% of sales.
Oh, wow.
They just acquired 2 different brands. One is WSS, and the other is one called ATMOS, Atmos, I guess.
I haven't heard of either of those.
Listen to the price that they paid. For Atmos, they paid $372 million. For WSS, they paid $809 million.
Whoa.
WSS is a US-based off-mall athletic footwear and apparel retailer focused on the Hispanic consumer. It operates 93 stores, primarily on the West Coast. And in 2022, it did $600 million in revenue.
Damn. That's
and
amazing.
I've never heard of it
stores.
Either. I've never heard of it either. WSS, $800 million purchase price, $600 million in revenue. Footwear and apparel retailer focused on the Hispanic consumer. Really, when I was reading this, I was just like, wow, people can build businesses doing anything. I've got no idea what I'm doing, it turns out. Or I thought I understood business and the landscape of American business. And I hear something like this and I'm like, oh yeah, I know nothing.
That is hilarious. And it's started by a white dude named Eric.
Is it really? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really? You looked it up and it says what?
I just looked it up.
Wow.
Eric
okay.
Allen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears. Bunch of stuff to chat about. You tell me what you want to chat about first. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to chat about too.
Okay, so I love when I find the next generation of dropshippers somewhere, because I feel like they are the ones that are doing everything that everybody else is going to be doing in a year from now. And so especially when it comes to e-commerce, I love it because they're the best when it comes to testing hooks and angles and things that work and little engagement hacks and engagement bait and all these things. Do you use TikTok a lot or no?
Too much.
Okay. Me too. I'm like a cracked out, crackhead at 1 a.m. scrolling, telling myself I need to go to sleep, but just one more. And so anyways, so recently I've seen, the TikTok shop, like the ability to just buy products in the actual TikTok experience. Have you seen that? Like the little product buttons that pop up? Okay. So you'll probably start seeing it soon. Yeah. Within like 2 clicks, you can somebody can, show their video. You click one button, it just says buy now or chat. You can chat with the seller. You can buy it right away.
Is that only for ads or is that for anybody?
Completely organic.
Wow. So like an organic, mini katana can be like, hey, buy this sword. 2 clicks.
Yeah. And there's 2 ways it works really well. One is if you're the brand, obviously you plug, you tag your own products just like you do on Instagram, except it feels a lot more intuitive because of the platform of TikTok and just how the content flows. The second way is you can upload your product and then offer people affiliate discounts or affiliate commission. So I can put up a product and then I can say, anybody who sells this thing, I'll give you 30% of the sale. All you have to do is just get one and just make your own content. And it's really interesting because you remember Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
One of the ways that this guy grew his community or whatever he calls it online was he would basically get a bunch of people in that group to create their own content, cut up Andrew Tate clips on their own, post it to a different page of that brand. So let's say the brand's called Spritz Society. Instead of the Spritz Society page being posted from, they would say, okay, you create your own page for Spritz Society, shop Spritz Society, get Spritz Society flavors, all these different variations. You post your own videos, you put your own affiliate code in the bio, and that's the link that you promote. And you try to create as much content as you can to go viral. Anytime you go viral and people use that link, you're going to get, 20, 30% of the sale. And you make money, I make money. It's a win for everybody.
Sure.
TikTok just basically took this and said, let's productize this with this whole affiliate marketplace. And now, it's basically, I think it's going to eventually, like, it's the equivalent of replacing Share a Sale or Skim Links for publishers. This is Skim Links, but for content creators on TikTok. And this is something that Instagram's been talking about forever and never really put into action. And TikTok just launched it. And I think it's doing really well. The other cool thing
That's
is,
awesome.
yeah, Chinese e-commerce is probably the most advanced. I think in China, e-commerce usage is 51% versus here it's about 15.1%. And so they just understand all these little signals and what to implement much better. And so the interesting thing is there's three options when you see a product. You can chat with the seller immediately and get answers. You can add it to a universal cart, or you can buy it right there. The other interesting thing is it's got a little bit of social proof where it says how many units have been bought of that product. And so the hardest cliff with this TikTok shopping program is probably getting to your first 100. But once you're there, it becomes gravy, because now you've got this kind of built-in, you can't fake that number in terms of how many things are being bought. And so anyways, that all leads me to this brand I've been seeing on TikTok, which I think, it's actually been around for, I think, 10 years. And these guys have just been all over my TikTok feed. And I get so engrossed with their ads, like their hooks, their quick cuts, and even their product pages. And so it's a brand called High Smile. Have you ever heard of this company?
No.
Okay, so this company started with a $20,000 investment, two dudes in a kitchen, I think like 10 years ago maybe. In 2018, reportedly, they did $40 million in revenue. And somewhere between 2018 and today, I don't know when Shopify published this case study, but it said they did over $130 million in sales.
Between 2018 and today?
One of the years between 2018 and today, they did 130 in an individual calendar year.
So I bet it's 2020 when it's COVID.
Yeah, probably. But these guys are ripping. And so a couple interesting things. So I went to their site. They have, for TikTok, they have quite a slow site load time. It's 4.5 seconds, which is super slow for a TikTok site. But the second this site loads, it's got everything it possibly needs. So they have this always on 50% site-wide discount, which actually might be against FTC rules now. Then there's an email pop-up that comes up, another 25%. And then individual products are all discounted at different levels up to 50. So what's interesting is these guys don't use landing pages. They drive everybody straight to PDPs. And their PDPs on mobile are so good. Right above the fold, the very top is like a scrolling bar that just basically says, site-wide sale, 50% off. It's just constantly reminding you that there's a sale. When you click, then right below that, there's the reviews call out. So what are the reviews and how many? And these guys have like 15,000 reviews per product, which is pretty insane. You've got this bestsellers badge. You've got flavor selection through emojis instead of through on-brand iconography or writing the words out, which I thought was much better, especially because emojis is kind of like another language. The first image in the product carousel has the discount designed into the actual product render, which I thought was amazing as well. They have another call out that says how many people are currently looking at the product. So at the time I was looking, it was about 4,300 something. And then right next to their add to cart button, there's a button that says tap to save 20%. As soon as you click that, the notification bar at the very top where the scrolling discount was, it just changes to say your discount's been applied, or something like your discount will be applied in cart. Then I thought, okay, I wonder if these guys must have upsells, right? If I add an $8 toothpaste to my cart. No, unfortunately, there's no upsell. But as soon as you hit add to cart, it does suggest a couple of other products. It doesn't get too aggressive with it, which I would have imagined it does given the layout of the page. But even in the slide out, or even in the shopping cart, it says how many people are checking out right now, which is just another indicator of like, hey, Moiz, don't worry. You're not stupid for making this purchase. There's 300 other people that are about to make this purchase. And so then the last thing I look at is like, all right, what's the checkout like? When you go to checkout, You're going to love this. You know how at the top in Shopify checkout, you can change the banner or change the logo or change the color at the very top? These guys just put an image, and on top of it, it looks like an Apple notification that says shipped from High Smile HQ, which has, nothing to do with like branding or anything. It's just it just makes you think, oh, okay, this must be legit. It's shipping directly from the HQ. So the funny thing is, like, as I was going through this, there was a couple companies that come to mind. One is called Autobrush. Have you seen that company? I think they're based out of San Diego. They also have like you put this thing in your mouth and it just brushes your teeth. There's another company out of LA called SolarWave, which is like a face skin wand. It like tightens your skin. All these products, they've kind of like blown up, bootstrapped. They tend to be electronics based somehow. Like these guys actually started with their whitening kit, but they all do like 5 kind of similar things. They have a new medium for the thing that they do. In this case, these guys have an airless pump for their toothpaste, which nobody does, which also makes for just great content. They do huge celebrity endorsements. So like these guys have, the Kardashians, the Jenners, Conor McGregor. SolarWave has like Emma Chamberlain and Sydney Sweeney. They do a bunch of stuff on social media, creating their own content. And a lot of their content is actually just created by their own customers. So they'll either send product out for free, or they will, pay people to just create organic looking content. They have very easy to see before and afters. So like all these 3 brands I mentioned, you can clearly see before and afters. And then the last one is it just solves such a simple problem that everybody already knows exists. They're not trying to solve something new or reinvent the wheel by any means. It's just that the way that they're solving it is a much better way to do it. And of course, the fact that these guys just crush on TikTok, I have to imagine they crush everywhere else.
First, what a great breakdown and what interesting products. I guess these guys aren't as traditional. I guess they're founded and based in Australia. Yeah. Which for some reason makes me think that they're not dropshipper. I'm like, oh, if you're not in China, you cannot be. Like
no,
Champagne.
Not at all.
Yeah, like
they've got the drop shipping like aura to them, or like the drop shipping vibe with their heavy discounts and making it very easy to apply codes and things like that. And like no brand, right? If you go to their site, the only brand is like their product. But I feel like these types of people, they do everything that everybody else is going to do in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking actually like, bourbon can only be made in the United States. Champagne can only be made in a certain region in France, and cognac can only be made in Cognac, France. Drop shipping can only happen from China. It cannot happen from any other country. I will say what's really one is that you're saving 20% with that disc. Click here. What's interesting is they're like price reflects the total after Smile has been applied. So I don't know why you'd have to click here. Like what, if I click add to cart, you're going to charge me higher than the price up here anyway? Like you've already applied the discount code, but it is like a fun feeling. They gamify it. And I'm sure they tested it because this website is already, I can tell, it's sophisticated enough that they've done a bunch of tests to see what works and what doesn't work. Like they have a permanent add to cart button at the bottom. The cart page, you're right. It's like, a long time ago would say like, a long time ago, like people would be like, oh, John from San Diego just purchased. Nick from New York just purchased. Like in the bottom left-hand corner, you'd see that.
App.
And then people, exactly, the FOMO app. And then people got rid of that because it just wasn't working out that well. Where we did this thing at Native with this pop-up where we're like, you know how when you're checking out with an airline, they're like, do you want travel protection insurance? And you're like, no.
That is one of my favorite modules.
Yeah, but then they're always like 4,712 people have already agreed to this today. Like,
in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it'll turn red if they're like you're not going to get there if you don't get this. Yes, your ticket costs $800. This $20. This is what matters. It turns out. That's what these guys are doing with this 175 people checking out now. 168. I wonder how real this module is. I mean, I'm not judging. I just wonder if this is real or if I leave this on long enough. Is it just a random number generator? Sometimes you can see it in view source code.
So
this number is a permanent number.
I was trying to pull up the code, and so it seemed that it would refresh every at a set time frame, and the container name was called like component number update fade leave active fade leave, and I'm pretty sure it's just fake, but there was no app I could find behind it. but I bet it works.
I mean, it would be if 185 people were checking out right now, I'd be like, that is a lot. You have a massive business here. I can't imagine that's actually true, but still, good for them for doing all this. Looks great. That's awesome. This site is really well optimized and interesting to see. You know what's crazy is I feel like you probably get TikTok ads and Instagram ads that I absolutely do not see. Like my ads are my ads are so specific to me, even though we're in the same community. You know, obviously we're a decade apart, but we're like live in the same community. We're both in e-commerce. We're both young-ish, or I'm young-ish. I don't get the ads that you get, which is really interesting or surprising to me.
Yeah, I love so there's two things I love about TikTok ads, or three things. One is like understanding the comments engagement, because depending on the comments, you will know if this is a piece of creative that's actually working really well for the brand, or for the brand and for the people who are seeing it, or if it's just something that the brand thinks is worth putting out. And when there's no comments, like the advertisers turned off comments, usually it's not something that's doing that well. The second one is looking at the landing pages. So where are people driving to, just because of how optimized they have to be. And I love saving those pages. And the third one is looking at the instant pages, which I don't know if have you seen those much?
The instant pages on I have.
Yeah, they're just like built in Figma or some static image, and it basically qualifies the click to a landing page.
Yeah. I can't believe you started this segment with TikTok is like taking share of sale and building it into TikTok, and that's amazing because right now it's so hard. If you're a creator, you're like, okay, I want to endorse a brand. How do I find that brand? How do I find a brand that has a good aesthetic? How do I find what it looks like? How do I get images and all this stuff? And if you've ever used Share a Sale, looks like it was built in 1993, and the webmaster lost his login credentials in 1993, and no one has ever tried to fix it. And it's so antiquated.
So accurate.
It looks so bad. And, I remember using Share a Sale, and everyone would just be like, hi, I'm a very good, retailer. Very good person. I will not do affiliate codes. And I'm like, or I will not do like a PPC or anything. When I was running native, he's like, I would not do PPC. And I was like, well, where are you going to advertise? Like, how are you going to get sales? And they'll be like, I'm going to run Google ads. I was like, you just said you weren't going to run Google ads. I knew you were going to run Google ads. You didn't even remember to lie the second time. Like, you only knew to lie the first time. They're all like, 98% of Share a Sale are people living in Pakistan, I want to say, or India or some country, and they're just going to run PPC, running keywords against your brand name. Like if your brand name is native deodorant, they're going to run keywords for native deodorant and try and get the sale, get that 30%. That's great that TikTok's like, you can do this and you get the sale because there's an affiliate link built into your TikTok product feed. Someone can click through and it's a legitimate person, and TikTok is working with real creators, and you don't have to filter through 99 people who are going to do pay-per-click against you to find one real influencer on Share Sale.
Yeah, I think everybody likes to talk about live shopping coming from China and being moved over here. I feel like this is kind of the US equivalent of live shopping, which is like, you can give anybody, it's kind of like the gig economy, except sales and marketing for consumer products.
Yeah. That's amazing. What an interesting company. I always with True Classic Tees, I saw them dominate TikTok for like 6 months. Every time I opened up my TikTok, I was like, this is the only advertiser on here. What's going? Every third video was a True Classic Tees video. I feel like they probably pull back a little bit of their spend on TikTok, but it is amazing to see how people go viral and how big people can get. Like once you start seeing somebody dominating, you're just like, I see this everywhere. That business is crushing it through that marketing channel.
Yeah, totally.
Nick, did you know that Tapcart apps have generated more than $5 billion in sales for Shopify's fastest growing brands? Everyone from Fashion Nova to Mudwater to our friend Ben at True Classic Tees, Tapcart is powering all of their apps.
I didn't realize it was that big, but it does make sense. And I love the examples that you gave, because they're either high consumption or high consumable products, or it's apparel where I feel like there's a higher consideration funnel. It makes perfect sense to be using a mobile app in those cases.
Yeah, Tapcart's mobile app has a 2.3x higher conversion rate versus the mobile web. And to learn more, go to tapcart.com/limited.
All right, what's next?
Okay, I want to talk about I've got a bunch of stuff to chat about today, but I want to talk about creative thinking when it comes to marketing. I feel like everyone now has sort of like relegated themselves to doing what everybody else is doing. Oh, you're running Facebook ads or TikTok ads, so am I. You're using affiliates, so am I. Maybe I'm large enough that we can both try, television. Maybe I'm large enough that we can both try out of home. And then we're like, okay, that didn't work. Let's not do out of home again. And so I wanted to think about like more, here are 4 out of the box ideas that I've heard of. And I present these with no judgment, except maybe the first one, which is, bad. Maybe the first 2 are bad, but like, here are just creative ideas. And I want to put them into the, ecosystem. And I want to hear what you think, really. Okay. One is, that you've probably heard of a few of these. One is this company a long time ago called Hampton Creek. Do you remember Hampton Creek?
Yeah.
They made like fake mayonnaise. They were trying to make
they used to be like
mayonnaise.
Just Egg, right? Or
they changed their name
Justin's.
to like Just Mayo. They changed their name to like Just Mayo. And so what they were doing is they were making plant-based mayonnaise, no eggs. And what happened is you'd see their investor president, like they launched into Whole Foods, and they're like, we're the number 1 mayonnaise in Whole Foods. And everyone was like, this brand is on fire. Everyone apparently has wanted eggless mayonnaise. And you'd go to Whole Foods and be like, what are their sales at Whole Foods? And Whole Foods would be like, these guys are crushing it. They're the number 1 seller of mayonnaise at Whole Foods. And you're like, wow, these guys are amazing. And it turned out what they were doing was they were having people across the country go into Whole Foods, buy Hampton Creek mayonnaise, and throw it in the garbage. And one guy, like, I don't know if he tweeted, like somebody made this public, and the business, was like basically over that day, because their investors were like, what the fuck? You said you were the number 1 seller of at Whole Foods. I didn't realize you were taking investor money to go buy the mayonnaise at Whole Foods and then just throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, I think they also had a warehouse they were storing all this in.
I thought they were just throwing it in the garbage. At least they're a warehouse. I'm like, I appreciate a little bit more so they're not wasting so much stuff. But, that was a creative idea, at least. It was a bad idea and something that was, probably like fraudulent. I mean, I certainly wasn't an investor and I don't know exactly what they said, but I would have guessed that there was some fraud around there. And so I think that company went south, but it was creative thinking. Here's let me go through. I have these listed in the worst to possibly best. Okay. Here's a second one. And I only have 4 of them. So another one is, how could we with mobile apps, there's all these click farms in India that will go and download your mobile app and open it up every day to increase your MAU or DAU or whatever statistic you want to modify. It's basically a click farm, right? Is someone created that for Facebook ads to be like, I want, like, let's say I'm native deodorant and I'm competing against Dove. Every time I want someone to like try and get to Dove ads, like, go to Dove's website, do all that kind of stuff on 10,000 phones. And when you get a Dove ad, say, don't show me this type of ad again. It's like spam or like, I don't like this company or something like that. And basically destroy their ability to advertise on Facebook, because all of a sudden that company's marketing costs. Facebook says a negative signal for an ad is worth 10 times more than a positive signal. Right. So yes, this company will still get likes and comments, but I just had 10,000 people in India for $25,000 go through and mark every single ad as don't show me this ad again, which has got to hurt their ability to market on Facebook.
That is so funny. My version of that a few years ago, I never did it, but the thought was, what if we send a shitload of fake traffic and just completely mess up the retargeting pools, which would kind of do a similar thing.
That does do a similar thing. Facebook has made it now so that you can like ban traffic from certain things right. to prevent the retargeting pool. I'm not sure if you go direct to the site, if you're, I'm not sure actually if you run traffic direct to the site, whether it would fuck it up. But I think the problem is people who saw the link, clicked it, and then went to the Dove.com would be people who are interested in Dove, right? But
totally. That's a much stronger signal.
Yeah, that's right. But if you were advertising auto parts and drove them to Dove.com, Dove's retargeting pixel would probably get fucked up. I'm surprised there is not more marketing warfare in an environment where so much warfare can be done surreptitiously. A decade ago, the United States and Israel partnered together to Iran has these things that circle really fast called centrifuges to enrich uranium in order to build nuclear technology. Let me put it that way. And the United States and Israel created a virus and sent it into Iran's systems. So these centrifuges, which are that spin really quickly but are highly calibrated, spun too fast and basically broke themselves. Like they were supposed to spin at 100, let's say revolutions per second. They spun at 1,000 and they all destroyed themselves.
Oh, wow.
And, they used, warfare, like legitimately digital warfare to attack Iran. How come there's not surreptitious marketing warfare? I'm surprised that doesn't exist. Okay, that's idea. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think everybody is probably fighting too hard of a battle of their own to start thinking about that.
Yeah. Maybe it's me because I'm like not doing anything. But I'm like, well, why don't people do this? Okay, number 3 is, and Tyler, if we can bleep out this name, it's this company called, and what they did is when people would buy their products, they would, like, let's say you bought from my direct-to-consumer site, and let's go back to Native, because Native is definitely not doing this. What would happen is I would have someone from Instacart go and buy this product from Whole Foods or Target or wherever and deliver it to your door. And the amazing things were, 1, I would show turn at Whole Foods or Target or wherever it was. And 2, you would get it same day or next day. So the delivery was amazing. You're like, I just bought this today and I got it by the end of tonight. It's really amazing. And so I think that that is really incredible, because what happens is when the brick and mortar retailer, Target or Whole Foods, will be like, fuck, we are selling this product so well. Like, instead of just the sales that they have of people coming in and purchasing the product, now all of your direct-to-consumer sales are you can send a bunch of your direct-to-consumer sales to beef up your brick and mortar velocity and inflate it. I don't know if that's, I don't know where on the line. Is this like gray? Is this black hat? Is this white hat? Is this gray hat? I don't know what it is here.
I know of a brand that's done this, and I think it proved to be very successful. They would basically get orders on Shopify, and they had a bot which could read the orders, and then it would like move the mouse and place the order on Instacart. The reason it was so effective, and I'm sure it's still done the same way, is the systems are all bifurcated. So Shopify is not talking to Instacart. Instacart doesn't talk to the retailer. As far as the retailer knows, it's just new people coming in and buying this product. Yeah. And then it hits a point where they say, okay, give them more shelf space. And then that kicker sort of, takes over the sales volume.
Is that the same company I just mentioned, or is it a different company that did it?
No, different one.
Wow. Okay. So this is already out there. All right. See. Yeah. Okay. So what they do is they do a good job of promoting. They run promotions, or at least a long time ago, they'd run promotions, but it wouldn't be to customers. It would be to influencers. And they'd say, this weekend, we're giving you 40% affiliate codes. We've got 1,000 influencers. Okay, you usually get 20%. This weekend, you get 40%. And so people would be like, great, let me advertise right now this weekend. So they could control a bunch of affiliates talking about their product at the exact same time. They could get like a lot of turn at the same time, and they could maintain their brand integrity, because it wasn't like they were discounting their product 40%. They were just increasing their affiliate code to 40% or affiliate fees to 40%. So all of a sudden, if you were a consumer, you saw 10 influencers that you follow on Instagram talking about the same product. And that kind of echo chamber, I think, increased sales without harming or damaging brand reputation, because you weren't doing promotions all the time. You could basically say 40% to influencers once a month. And I think what the other thing they would do is they'd say, this weekend, whoever gets the most sales gets a new car, like getting a new Honda Accord. And so then people are like, fuck, I'm super motivated to try and win this thing. Right. And so I thought all 4 of these ideas, buying it at Whole Foods and throwing it in the garbage, doing digital warfare when it comes to marketing, which is probably against Facebook's terms of service, buy stuff and deliver it through Instacart, promotions to influencers. I thought every time I heard of one of these ideas, I was like, this guy, whether or not what they're doing is gray hat or white hat, it's inspirational, and that it makes me think outside the box. And I feel like we don't do enough of that in the e-commerce community. Everyone's like, I'm running the same ads. I'm doing a handwritten note. I'm trying to create fun packaging. I'm trying to create fun emails. But there's like the guys who change the industry or like bend the arc of the industry in minor ways are guys who are doing more creative things like this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. In fact, this is the exact reason I loved all of the breakfast, the dinners, and the events we went to at Commerce Summit. Those people at that event, those are the guys and girls that are doing this. they've got I think it comes down to quiet time, right? Everybody's spread so thin and just putting out fires all day. The people that have quiet time to think about these ideas and just think, okay, if I have to hit X, what are all the things I got to do backwards? That's how they come up with these ideas versus, being in the day to day and like, okay, we got to hit this, or CPM's up or CPA's up. We got to fix this. We got to put that fire out. And then I agree. I think a lot of the stuff gets so lazy. I think I actually think about 5% of marketers are really good. And I think 95% are really good at copying the others and just copying basically what those 5% are putting out from an innovation standpoint.
Yeah, that's right. And of the 5% that are really good at innovating, 1% you've only heard of 1% of them. The other 4% of them are doing such a good job and they don't want anyone else to copy their stuff that they're just like, I'm sitting on this and I'm never going to tell anybody about it.
Exactly.
Here's one thing that let me throw this creative idea, which I was thinking about this recently because I was driving my mother's Honda Odyssey.
Classic brown people car right there. Around,
and that car has a bunch of we didn't pay for the EX model. My mom is too frugal for that. She would have been very mad at me. One time I remember I was negotiating the price of a car and the guy, this was a long time ago when keyless entry wasn't as big as it is today. It was another Honda Odyssey, believe it or not. And I called my mom up and I was like, do you want $500 off or do you want keyless entry for this car? And my mother was like, she was so ashamed of me. She's like, tell them they can take one of the doors off if they'll reduce another $500. I don't need all 4 of the doors on this car. And I was like, okay, got it. You don't care about keyless entry. But in any case, the thing I saw was empty buttons. I saw buttons that you could push in the car that didn't do anything because we didn't have the best model. And every time it sort of made me feel like, oh, you know what? I skimped out or I did. And it had 2 effects on me. It sort of had the effect of, wow, I kind of hate it that there are empty buttons here. It's not a good brand consumer experience. But it's also the flip side of that coin is, wow, I wish I had sprung for the nicer model where I would have all of the buttons did something. And I wonder if in e-commerce you can do this. And I thought about this in this way. Let's say you're a skincare company and someone buys 3 of your products, but not all 4. What if on the insert card that you send them with directions or whatever, you put all 4 products and you're like, here's how to use our skincare system, including the 4th product that person didn't buy. And let's say you have that upsell and they didn't take the upsell. And when you ship them a box, there's a spot for that 4th product.
Yeah, it just stays empty.
Yeah, exactly. What is the psychology of that? Is that is that something that encourages people to be like, you know what, let me get this 4th product. I want the system to work. I've gotten 3 of these products. The 4th product will work. Or is that a system that's like, fuck this company. I bought 3 items. They're sort of rubbing it in my face that I didn't go all out. The same way that I feel about the Honda Odyssey. I don't know enough about this. And I just thought of this because I was like, what are creative thinking ideas that we can do to promote our brands? I hate thinking it's not that I hate thinking about these things. I don't feel good about this because there's not a lot of integrity. If you're like, look, I just have a 4th item. I'm trying to shove it in this guy's face. That's not a lot of integrity. But if you are developing Proactive, and I think Proactive is like a three-step skincare system, and someone only buys 2 steps, that 3rd one is probably super important. Totally. Is this a model to get them to work? The product will work better for them. You'll make more money. The consumer will be happier. Can it be a win-win? And I don't know the answer. It depends on every brand. But I wonder if there's an opportunity to create to be more creative when it comes to branding. And I thought, to marketing. And I thought all of these were ideas that could be interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a line where you might piss somebody off, which obviously you don't want to hit that point. But I do think. For the in the proactive example, that's actually more convenient for the customer to realize that they're missing a big step. Or maybe even in the skincare piece, they missed the serum and the serum actually helps the cream do its job better. I think it's friendly there. I always think back too to if somebody's unboxing this thing and they're really excited about their purchase, do you want to disappoint them right away? I would probably say no. But then the flip side is on the site, I think it's totally fair game to have those, tap to apply coupons or the upsells or the 1-click upsells post purchase. So I feel like it's push and pull with where you get into the gray zone.
Yeah. And you want to build I'll say one other thing. There's
If you're a drop shipper, I'm more okay with the psychology of empty buttons because your brand is like in and out fast. You're trying to maximize revenue. You probably found some product market fit and it'll die down. And once it dies down, you don't think of your brand it the same way any longer. So you might be more okay with that. If you're trying to build a real brand like Native was, I would never have done anything like this. I would have been like, this is shitty on the consumer from the perspective of the consumer, and I wouldn't do it. And so I think it does depend on what you're trying to build as well.
Totally.
Okay, I want to.
I got.
Go ahead. Yeah, tell me.
Well, I got one piece of news that I think we should definitely talk about because I'm sure you're going to love this too as a WooCommerce fanatic. But did you see that Shop Pay is now available outside of Shopify?
I did not see that. It's available on WooCommerce now.
So basically, Shopify in January released a thing called Commerce Components. And it was their big, it was like the flagship of their Shop Talk presence was announcing this enterprise level commerce component stack. And there's a few companies, I think Zulily is one of them. I don't know if Zulily has Shop Pay turned on yet, but I know that they're a customer now of Commerce Components. But what's interesting is, back in the day, one-click checkout was an Amazon patented patent. And so nobody could do one-click checkout except Amazon. Even when iTunes was doing one-click buying of songs, Apple was paying Amazon $1 million under the table to be able to do that and license the patent so they could do one-click. And then Barnes & Noble's tried to do it, calling it something like Express Checkout. They got sued and probably settled for something. But it's interesting now because first of all, I think all of the other one-click checkouts are gone. Like Fast pretty much vanished like OceanGate. Bolt, I've never heard of Bolt. Like they used to be really loud during COVID. I don't hear about them anywhere now. Although I do see that they're pretty active on some stores. But now Shop Pay has over 100 million shoppers with registered wallets, which is amazing. And then the second thing with the Shop app getting bigger and bigger is they have now this Shop wallet. And so there's a balance that just sits in your Shop wallet that you can use to purchase. And so last night, for example, I bought sunscreen. There was a sunscreen I wanted to try from Covey. Instead of going to the site and buying it, I went and did it through the Shop app where I just, I used my credits that I had sitting in the wallet and it was basically free. Those were credits I just earned for shopping elsewhere. But anyways, Shop Pay is now available to be
on
used
other
anywhere.
Platforms.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
It's going to be huge.
That is really, that's great. I think that, by the way, is that a Stanley water jug or where's that water jug?
This is a Simple Modern.
Okay. I'm going to send you a Rotera from Brewmate that they just launched as water. You got to check it out. It's really good, actually.
Okay, sweet.
But
wait, one last thing I want to add here is it is interesting timing because I feel like there was no lead up to this going live right away, other than maybe the fact that the wallets were starting to get, like, people were starting to build balances in the Shop app. And maybe that Commerce Components came out recently. The only other coincidence I see for this to come out so suddenly was Amazon's Buy with Prime button is, I think, starting to get some good traction in terms of getting on e-commerce stores. And I think this was more of a, oh shit, we got to make sure that we don't lose enterprise clients to the Buy with Prime button when they should have the Shop Pay button.
I just used the Buy with Prime button for the first time ever on this company called Roost, which does an iPhone, MacBook, like a stand, like a portable stand, because I'm traveling a bunch. And so I really wanted that. That's so interesting. Yeah. So I think it's great that Shopify is doing this. To be honest, I think the winner in this space should be, and the loser has been so far, is Stripe. Like, agreed. Stripe should be doing this because they're powering forget about Shop Pay. Like, they're powering the platform. They're powering checkout for, Bloomingdale's, Lyft, Amazon, Instacart, everybody. Yeah. Like the person who actually owns all of these tokens is Stripe. And they know everybody's credit card information and
even probably all the Shopify tokens.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm surprised that they have not taken a bigger swing at this. They've launched something like this a while ago.
They have it's called Link, I think.
Yeah, that's right. It is called Link. It's, I think, with the Q or something, right? And it's like, they basically have not put a lot of resources behind it. And I'm surprised to see that because I think this is if I were Stripe, I'd be like, anyone could be a credit card processor. How do I build a moat? And one of the moats I can build is I want to make it so that if you use Stripe, you have a faster, better checkout rate than any other payment processor. And the way to do that is if Nick is checking out on a brand new site that is not based on Shopify for some reason, or is like Bloomingdale's.com, which is not based on Shopify. And so I'm surprised that Stripe has not built a bigger moat around that type of like the network effect of I own everyone's credit card information and token. I can make it so everyone can have a one-click checkout experience across the web. Whether you're on Bloomingdale's or Nordstrom's or Native or Mad Happy, wherever you are, I'm surprised that Stripe is not powering this. I think they will at some point. I think they may be. I don't know anything internally, but I would imagine they might be a little bit afraid of stepping on Shopify's toes. But I think they should because it's just too big of a market to give up.
Yeah, I've used theirs a few times, and theirs is really smooth and flawless. It's just very simple. There's no branding to it. Yeah. But yeah, it is kind of surprising that they haven't, like you said, they're already powering checkout without everybody knowing it. I'm surprised they haven't just, slipped it right in and been like, even a promotion. We'll take, 0.1% off of your transaction fee if you use one-click checkout from Stripe.
Yeah. That'd be insane. I think that's a great idea. I can't believe Shopify is now powering this for WooCommerce. I'm excited. I wonder how easy it is to integrate that stuff. I'd be curious. I'm going to see what it's like. Okay, let me switch gears into one more thing, which is an Amazon FTC complaint. There is a woman named Lisa Khan who is now running the FTC, and she graduated from Yale Law School, I'm pretty sure. And she wrote this one paper as a student where she's like, Amazon is a monopoly. And, she's like your age, not my age. She's like super young, running the FTC, and she's been really aggressive. And, I think that like people are so afraid of winning cases that they don't bring cases that they might lose. She's more likely. I think she's like, look, I don't mind losing a case. I think we should bring cases. She brought a case against Amazon recently. And in fact, it just got announced this week. And she said that, or the FTC said, Amazon is using manipulative tactics to get people to enroll in Prime and making it really hard to unsubscribe.
I saw this.
So I guess
I don't think it's true, though.
Yeah. I don't think it's true, but I thought there were two interesting things from this article that I read about it.
Okay.
What percentage of households, of U.S. households, do you think have a paid Amazon Prime membership?
20%.
Okay, it's 72%, according to Insider Intelligence. 96 million households have a paid Prime membership. Okay, and then so I thought that was really crazy. And it's the FTC. This isn't FTC's allegation. It's certainly not mine. I don't know anything about it. I have Amazon Prime. I've never tried to unsubscribe. It seems like an amazing deal. Like I'm not sure why anyone would try and unsubscribe. They could basically make it impossible, and I'd be like, no problem. But for years, Amazon has made it easy to enroll with Prime with 1 or 2 clicks, but created a 4-page, 6-page, or 15-option cancellation process. So basically, the FTC is alleging that Amazon made it super easy for you to enroll in Prime and virtually impossible to, cancel that subscription because you had to click so many buttons. And it said, this is the best part. This is so funny. I read this and I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. And it really gets me jazzed up. Like, they talk about their unsubscribe flow or the cancellation flow. They refer to it as the Iliad flow, which is a reference to Homer's epic about the Trojan War. Like there was a book, called the Iliad and the Odyssey where this guy had to come home from a war and he had to go through, 1,000 things to go meet his wife.
Yeah.
And that's what they refer to their unsubscribe flow is like, let's make it like, coming home from a war. You have to jump through 44 hurdles. So the FTC has said that it's a labyrinth procedure. It was designed to make it cumbersome and confusing for customers to cancel Prime. I just thought it was hilarious that they referred to it as the Iliad flow.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty funny. I feel like you said she's my age, which makes me think like she hates everything that probably exists and does well on its own.
Yeah, let me see how old
she's going to continue to bring those cases. Okay, she's not your age. She's like 7 years older than me. Yeah, she's 34.
That's young.
Yeah, still pretty young. Makes me think she's going to want to bring a lot of things that just try to take Amazon down because they're just big and they're Amazon.
Yeah. She did write this paper that said, "Hey, Amazon is a monopoly."
It is. You said 72% of people have
U.S.
Prime.
households. U.S. households.
Wow,
which is insane.
I also wonder too. Well, one thing I've always thought is it's so smart that their entire media arm is also under Prime, because everybody's probably mainly there for 2-day shipping or for a movie that they want to watch, and now they get the complete opposite as well, right? Like they get somebody who can now get shipping for 2 days or can go listen to some Justin Bieber album that's exclusively on Amazon. And the one number of Prime members, it's like that's their user base for every piece of Amazon now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm shocked that it's not. Well, I guess 72% is super high. Like, who are the 28? I wonder if it's just like a socioeconomic thing where it's like, we don't earn enough for it to make sense for us to pay a bunch of money to Amazon and get things shipped and delivered. Like we go to Walmart or something. But
right.
Like 72% is a huge number, and you're right. Like you can do so many things, right? Like watch movies, listen to music. Like Amazon, I used Amazon Music for a long time because it was free. And because I had a Prime membership, I'm like, why would I pay $9
that is
for Spotify?
So on brand.
Yeah. I didn't even understand. I still don't understand it. Today I use YouTube. I still don't have a Spotify membership or like a subscription. I use YouTube Music because I pay for YouTube. I pay YouTube Premium. And so I'm like, okay, YouTube Music is free. And like one guy was driving. I bought a Tesla. One of my friends is driving it, and he's like, "You don't pay for like the Spotify stuff?" And I was like, "No, I use YouTube." And he's like, "What's wrong here?" I was like, "No, it's too expensive." Let me switch gears to the last thing because I know we got to run. It's almost we're almost at an hour. One is, did you see that 10,000, the clothing company raised $21 million and became that was a lot. Good for them. Yeah, that was a lot.
Great for them. They've been grinding.
Yeah, they really have been. There's one other company, Skims. You know Skims?
Of course. The
shapewear company by Kim Kardashian. They're working on a new big round, apparently. The last round they raised was in 2022. They raised $240 million at a $3 billion valuation. And I thought it was really interesting that, like, Kim Kardashian's just like, the economy doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
My business is still on fire. I'm still Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, I have my own GDP over here. We measure GDP in my businesses separately from the U.S. government.
Yeah, her GDP starts when you enter the estate perimeter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's it. That was all I had. Did you have anything else, or was that?
No. Did you see Prime Day was set July 11th, July 12th?
I did see that. Yeah. Big 2 weeks. Big stuff coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And
by the way, did you? Birthday.
Yeah. Did you respond to that guy to get your espresso monitor?
I did, yeah.
Did you get jealous from that picture?
Yeah. I was like, the same day you flew, I flew from San Francisco in coach in like the back of the plane on like a seat where I basically nobody got up, so I could never use the bathroom. And I was like, okay, I need to travel like Nick Sharma is traveling. So that was a very classy photo.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Okay, we have a big episode. First, this is the penultimate episode. Next one's the final one for season 4. Next one will be with Ryan, the founder of True Classic Tees. I'm hoping that he's still able to make it, but I'm pretty sure he will be able to. I'm excited.
Yeah.
What question are you looking forward to asking him the most?
I think I'm really excited to ask him about his people management style. It seems like Ben is really, really dialed in on the growth and the operations side. And, Ryan was basically like, as the founder, it's your job to like build the culture, build the management style, and build the motivation within the team. And it seems like everybody there is basically like a SEAL Team 6 sniper for what they do. And so I'm really excited to see and just learn like how he approached that. Because I think this is probably his biggest company he's ever made. And so, he did that on his first big company as well.
Well, looking forward to it. That's a great question. I'm curious as well. Like, my question was, how do you and Ben divide responsibilities? Like, what do you focus on? What does he focus on? Because he seems so dialed in, and like rarely do direct-to-consumer businesses have presidents and like, founder, CEO. And so I'm curious to see how they split those responsibilities.
Totally. Cool. This was a fun episode.
Yeah, this was.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time to cut through the noise in CPG, retail, and e-commerce.
And if you enjoyed this episode, then why not share it with a friend? And be sure to subscribe on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on.